Title: Thorns in the Blood. The late sun bathed the hills in an orange bronze as Yarn sat under the ancient olive tree thumbing a jagged acacia thorn. His fingers were stained with dried sheep's blood and olive sap, but his mind was far from the flock. Footsteps crunched behind him.
Yaron?
He didn't turn. Angelica's voice came again, softer.
I've been looking for you. The lamb you stitched earlier. She's sleeping. Looks like she'll be okay.
Still he said nothing. Angelica came closer, then sat beside him. He said nothing.
You've been quiet all day. Even for you.
He slowly lifted the thorn and held it up against the fading sun.
This,
he said flatly,
was inside her leg, buried deep. Nearly hit the tendon.
She winced.
Looks sharp. Nasty.
It is. And dirty. If I hadn't cleaned it, the infection would have spread. You know what a thorn can do to a body, right?
Sure.
She said.
Punctures, swelling, sometimes worse if it gets infected.
Yaron looked at her, his voice tightening.
It's more than that. If it's the wrong kind of thorn, it can destroy nerves or hide beneath the skin for weeks, rotting flesh from the inside out. Some thorns carry toxins. Others bring in bacteria that can kill.
Angelica blinked, suddenly uncertain.
Okay, Yaron. What are you trying to say?
He stared down at the thorn in his hand.
He wore these.
She didn't need to ask who he meant.
The crown,
he whispered.
They didn't gently place it on his head, Angelica. They twisted it, jammed it down, made sure it dug in deep. These weren't little rosebush thorns. These were acacia, or jujube. Long, brutal. And they pressed them into his scalp, where the blood vessels are closest to the surface. That kind of wound?
He paused, jaw clenched.
It wouldn't just bleed. It would pour. Down his face, into his eyes.
Angelica's throat tightened.
Yaron.
And they mocked him.
He said, almost spitting the words.
Put a reed in his hand like a scepter, a purple rag around his shoulders. Called him King of the Jews. And all the while, his flesh was torn, his nerves screaming, the thorns burning in his skull.
He dropped the thorn into the dust between them. Angelica stared at the ground, her voice barely above a whisper.
He could have stopped it.
I know, Yaron said, voice raw.
That's what wrecks me. Jesus had the power. He could have stopped it all. But instead he chose the thorns, the curse.
She turned to him, her eyes glassy.
The curse from Eden?
Exactly.
He nodded.
Genesis. Cursed is the ground. It will produce thorns and thistles. Sin brought the thorns. And he wore them like a crown.
Angelica exhaled shakily.
He took the curse on himself.
Yaron nodded slowly.
Every time I pull a thorn out of a lamb, every infection, every festering wound, it all reminds me of the world's brokenness. And he let it pierce him. He took it into himself. For us.
Tears slipped down Angelica's cheeks.
I thought of it earlier.
She whispered.
When I was cleaning the lamb's wound. How gentle you were. You didn't flinch even when it bled.
Jan looked at her, eyes glistening.
Because I love them. They don't understand what I do for them. But I bleed before I let them suffer alone.
A long silence stretched between them. Finally, Angelica reached down, picked up the thorn, and held it carefully in her hand.
Do you think
She asked softly.
that Jesus ever felt the pain days later? Like a thorn buried so deep it keeps hurting?
Jan didn't hesitate.
I think he still feels it. In us. Every time we forget what it cost him. Every time we treat grace like it was cheap.
Angelica closed her hand around the thorn, wincing slightly as its tip pricked her palm.
You think this is sharp?
She said.
Then imagine the weight of every sin driving it deeper.
The shepherd and his sister sat in the twilight, shoulder to shoulder, hearts heavy and still. No more words were needed. Just the olive branches above them whispering like prayers. And the thorn lying between them, sharp with memory and mercy.